is that a comedian from Estonia makes his way from Estonia to Thailand? Is this the route? Was it Estonia, Canada, Thailand, or Estonia?
No, it was Estonia. Well, first of all, when I tried I didn't even know stand-up the way it was. I don't know how you... Like, what was your first exposure to stand-up?
I needed a job. Oh, it was a kid. Bill Cosby, record. My dad had Bill Cosby.
Yeah, record. For me, it was I wanted to download Eddie Murphy's Beverly Hills Cop on peer-to-peer service LimeWire.
Oh,
remember LimeWire?
Yes, of course.
And then sometimes, those peer-to-peer, they would just put a fucking fake audio file. And I would be like, 17 megabytes. Oh, that's going to fit on my computer. Of course, that's not enough for a movie. And it was like Eddie Murphy's Delirious. And only the audio. And it was the fucking Goonie Goo Goo or whatever.
Yep.
And I remember even as a kid, like laughing, but not knowing why is there an audience? How is it even done?
Yeah.
Like not even knowing that it's a theater stage or a gig or a comedy. And all the references. And then I remember I even from, did you guys have Kazaa? It was like a peer-to-peer.
I kind of recall Kazaa is some kind of secondary thing, but we were all using LimeWire over here.
And then I remember I downloaded Dave Chappelle's The Crack Baby.
How old were you?
Bit. This is like fucking 13 maybe. The Crack Baby, Hey Baby, the baby on the corner selling crack.
Yeah.
And I'm a suburban Estonian kid. What do I know about the projects? Also, this is in English that I don't even speak.
Right.
But the talent exceeds the connection that we have to have. Like I don't know the references he's giving, but the way he's delivering it is already funny.
Yeah, right. You're getting that, like, you see this in a lot of art too.
A lot of art,
which is something comes through the medium that transcends the medium and you connect to it.
Like when I was 18, I used to work at a jazz club. I was a bouncer.
Oh, wow.
Know nothing about jazz. Literally, I'm mentally, I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to play any instrument. It's magic. When I see somebody playing an instrument, you might as well. Yeah. I've tried, and I just don't have it.
Right.
I just can't. Some guys can just do the guitar.
Sure.
And you're like, did you go to school? They're like, no, I just fiddled.
Yeah.
Fiddled.
Yeah. Bastard.
And I remember I worked at this jazz club, also knowing nothing about music.
Yeah.
And we had some Estonian celebrity. He's like a white guy. There was Blues Mondays. And he would do the unplugged version. He was a rock star. Really talented guy.
Yeah.
Classically trained. La, 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 la. Really classically trained.
Yeah.
Great concerts. Packed. People are rocking. But then once a month we would get a visitor. And like one Monday I remember I saw some guy he was from New Orleans.
Wow.
70 years old, missing an eye, smoked his whole life, 3 teeth left.
Yeah.
And maybe 40 people in the crowd. About 20 of them were crying.
Wow.
And I remember like watching him perform and the connection, because he's putting his whole soul into that's what blues comes from.
Yeah.
He's from where it actually is.
Yeah.
Whereas the white guy, Daniel, he would he sang blues like haha, Still, I couldn't differentiate technically. A musician friend of mine who I got to hang out there, he of course told me, no, what Daniel is doing is the basic 1, 2 ABCs.
Right.
Somebody explaining stand-up, like, this is what he's doing. He's doing a hack fucking ta-ka-ta-ta-ta.
Yeah.
But then the other guy, he's fucking blending art forms,
Yes.
But I didn't know that technically. But my soul picked up on it,
Right.
Same thing with that Eddie Murphy and fucking Dave Chappelle thing. And then I was like 20 years old. I moved to Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
When stand-up started, me and another guy who I'm recording the podcast later, Sander, we were the first Estonians. We're part of the first. There was more 5-6 guys about. But that need of because the remnants of the Soviet occupation and the old regime still stayed. It's not like a regime collapses and we're all new people now.
Right.
It takes 10, 15 years for the palate to clear out. And really, because even now, people are still like, oh, you're cursing on television. That's not, that's not the older generation.
Right.
But it just needs to, clear out. And when I would watch television as a kid, I would see all these sketches, the husband comes home hello, my dear. Who says hello, my dear to their wife? You hate her. You've been married for 30 years. You have a cunt of a kid. You don't. If you're married for 30 years, you don't even talk to your wife. This is a roommate that's annoying. So we would watch this, and all the young people, my generation, we would all be like, we're not getting entertained by this.
Right.
So then when YouTube comes around, stand-up comedy comes around, now we have this platform to be like, fuck everything.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Wow.
So there's really a surge. I mean, I went from our open mics. I've done open mics in front of 1,000 people when we started doing open mic.
That is...
Yeah. And I remember I went into theater, because I started, anyway, I went from Melbourne for a girl, started there, learned about the actual comedy, because before I just thought the Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle. In my head, I thought I'll get UFC middleweight title, might pick up the light heavyweight, might fuck John Jones on the way. That was in my head. I was like, I'll do that. And then on the side, maybe an HBO, a little special. I'm funny. I kill at the jiu-jitsu gym.
Okay, so you're backpacking and you meet is this your first true love?
This is the thing. I was maybe 20, but she was 25. And women mature much quicker.
Yes.
And she's also American, but she's got a Mexican mother. She's like insane. And she's artistic. And she was the first person when I still was doing my MMA thing,
Right.
But let's just say the first year, I had all that delusion. The first year, I went 0-3 in MMA and started bombing at open mic. So reality came calling.
Yeah.
But she really opened me up just creatively. She was like, "You're not a fighter. You're the funniest guy I've met. You're a funny guy.
Right.
Why don't you do this shit?" And then randomly, we just move across the street from a comedy club in Melbourne. I got my a temporary 1-year work visa.
Yeah.
I went to an open mic, a workshop, just to find out what this art form is. You know? We fell in love. My visa ran out. Our pass went in different directions because I really found out I want to do comedy. Within 2 months, there's a good friend of mine that I still talk to who I started with, in Melbourne. He still says that, holy shit, I saw you do your first open mic ever in your life. And you came off stage. I don't remember this, but he keeps telling me the story. I go, so what do you want to do in comedy? And I went, I want to go all the way. Wow. And he was like, well, okay, that's a weird thing to say after your first bombing. And I was bombing.
Yeah.
So I went to Thailand I did some kickboxing there, and I started featuring for a couple of guys who did the Southeast Circuit. There was the Bangkok Comedy Club that was very nice to me. I did some gig in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur.
Crazy.
I did Myanmar, Cambodia.
What language were you doing your...
English.
English.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So I started in English.
This is insane because, if you were to make a list of the most improbable careers.
No, this is all insanity.
MMA is crazy.
And also, I started learning from comedy from my friend who's like, hey, do you know, because we watch UFC and Pride, the organization, not the gay stuff.
I know what you mean.
I was watching the organization, and he goes, hey, on Ustream, there's this guy. He goes, there's this guy, the commentator, Joe. And I go, oh, you mean the Rogan guy, the commentator? He goes, yeah, on Ustream, he has a show that he just talks. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Tune in to episode 6. It's like Tom Segura, Joe Rogan, Brian Redban on the couch. Wow. I know Redban and Joe are my friends. That's insane.
Is that weird? That must be so strange.
And I'm on a beach in Thailand listening, and that's how I'm finding out about comedy, about writing bits. I'm like, okay, I see it. I had a stepdad, drunk, kind of violent, not too bad. Nothing like fucked me under the bridge or something. Nothing real bad, but just unstable. And I think that's how my backpacking got started too. Maybe just
get out of there.
Get out of there. Just change your environment.
Right.
I love changing my environment. I'm almost addicted to it. So that was my first girlfriend, really, because before I was kind of a suburban kid that still had this obsession of control and fucking. I have my stuff. This is my stuff. This is my stuff. I don't want nobody touching my stuff.
Right.
And I remember we got robbed in a hostel with Chene, that girl. We got robbed, and immediately. In my controlling, also young man, so you kind of have to protect your girl. You have all these structures in your head that you're trying to, I'm supposed to be the guy. Somebody took my stuff. And, so immediately I'm almost having a mental breakdown when we walk into the room.
Right.
Her first sentence, she looks at me and goes, oh, all our shit is gone. I guess less responsibilities.
Yeah, wow.
And it really took me a year with her to really learn about, dude, the less stuff, the better.
Yeah.
All I need is my mind, you
Right.
know. All I need is just to be me. Because a lot of guys my age, when I started backpacking, I remember talking to my friends back home, you know, I would visit them and be like, why don't you come to Thailand with me? They're like, it's fucking $5,000. I could have a new fucking BMW for that. And I was like, BMW?
Yeah.
Or you could have the experience of crossing a river in India.
Yeah.
That experience is going to stay with me my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit in this BMW. I think about that girl Shanae once a week. Just of the experience we shared. I think of Varanasi, of course. I think about Bali. I think about fucking almost getting kidnapped in Myanmar. Of course, those
You
experiences.
almost got kidnapped? How close?
I sat in a car. I needed to get across from Thailand to Cambodia. There's an area there that's they have tons of casinos. Nobody owns. It's like no man's land, you know.
Wow.
So it's terrible. It's shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to scam each other off. The last bus left, so I'm alone, white kid, and I'm the only white kid.
Wow.
And it's one of those times in the night where it's about 2 a.m. and everybody's I can hear conversations about me being there. So you know something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Really nice guy with an old Mercedes stops by. He goes, you want to ride to Siem Reap, which is where I was going in Cambodia. It's a fucking 6-hour drive. But I'm European, so I'm like, you know, people are nice.
Yeah.
So I sit down in his back seat, and then he stops, maybe 20 yards away, he stops. Some other guy gets in the front seat next to him. He has a gun. And immediately in my head, I go, oh, it's going to be Rape City. I'm going to get raped, butt fucked, everything. Everything's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, you would think that you have an immediate panic. But there's something, I remember I was really calm for some reason, because you have to make rational decisions. You have to be very careful what you say, you know. And the driver turns back, he goes, we're not going to Siem Reap. You know, starts off that. And in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. The door's locked, click, goes into an alley, and then they both turn around and they start talking to me. And I can't even remember the conversation because I'm literally having a meltdown, but at the same time, totally calm. Get all of my money from my mother, you know, get your son back, then I can send my ear to my mother as a warning.
Yep.
They're going to do the whole package, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and they're talking, they're asking, what are you doing when you're going? And I'm just telling them I missed the bus, you know, I was fucking in between the dead zone there. I missed the bus, whatever. And then they both look at each other and they go, they literally audibly go, they talk whatever, whatever the fuck they talk, and they go, and the door's unlocked, and they go, get the fuck out. Administrator, and at this moment, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. But there's nothing, I just have to get off that street. Yeah. Everybody's looking at me. I saw I saw a lady take a shit in her hand, throw it at some old American man.
Why did you get a sense of what drove her to that moment? Was he being a dick, or she's just bored?
I don't know what the fuck was happening. I go into this hotel. The administrators are already like, because it's like, so apparently there's casinos, hookers, everything, and there's all these. The only white people I would see would be old American men that are just it's just a creepy place.
Yeah,
and a lot of dirt, the cars, everything. So I go into this hotel immediately, an administrator, and I find out at the hotel I crossed the border illegally. I was looking for the toll booth, but I just crossed. She's like, oh, you didn't do the thing. And she's like, we're not really a hotel. We're basically, you bang hookers here and you go home. And she goes, sure, I'll give you a room in the communal. I had such little money, of course. So I get a room in the communal hostel. Before I go to bed, she goes, hey, just put your passport in your pants and tie your backpack to your leg. So if they try to steal it, you can at least fight them. This is before I try to take a... This is before I try to go to sleep. So, of course, I'm just with my backpack in my leg. Sitting there like this.
Wow.
I'm in a hostel, in the bottom bunk. On the top bunk, some dude is going to town on a whore, and I'm along for the ride. Because it's a bunk bed, you know. You're like it's like somebody's driving a motorcycle, but you're in the sidecar. You know.
Was it hot? Did you get kind of turned on?
No. Old 45-year-old man with missing teeth.
Okay.
And probably a 10-year-old girl.
Oh, fuck. Okay, right. So that's a sad ride. It's a ride to hell.
I don't want to take this ride.
It's a terrible ride.
But I need a nap, dude. It's been a day. So with my backpack tied to my leg, I'm along, and I can feel him coming. You know? And in the morning, I go to the administrator. I've been fucking witnessing rape and prostitution. I haven't slept. So I go to the administrator. I go like, I gotta get to Siem Reap. I gotta get out of here. Because the reason I took it's the famous train route from Bangkok to Siem Reap. It takes 3 days. You take on a cargo train. And it's like an amazing journey. It pays $5. You're on a cargo train where people sell you a shower. You know how they sell you a shower? They have the little backpack with all the drapes.
No.
Yeah.
What?
And you stand on the car because the cargo train never stops. So you stand there. A guy puts like a drapes around you, and then he just pours water, and you pay him $1 American. That's a shower you take on that train.
Oh, I bet it feels good though.
Oh, hell yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
Because the cargo train is, all the dust is coming, all the windows are open. There's no air conditioning. The loss of control.
Absolutely. Yeah, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you
Get
gonna
off
do?
the train?
Yeah,
You're
in the middle of like
done.
nowhere. It's
the
done.
decision is done.
It's done.
The path is chosen.
Surrender.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
And then I leave them. Oh, so in the morning, I go Siem Reap. The lady goes, the first train leaves Monday, and it's like Saturday. And I'm like, I can't. And she's literally like, oh, I might have somebody. A car pulls up. It's a family of Mongolians. How many Mongolians are in the car? Tell me. It's a 5-seater.
I'm going to go 8?
6.
Wow.
So I'm the 7th person in the car. I have a Mongolian child on my lap.
Wow.
And we go for a 6-hour drive to Siem Reap with these Mongolians. And they don't have passports. They're just going there for work or something. Wow. Only one of them, like a kid. This is the young kid's on my lap. I have to no him.
Yeah.
And the other kid is here. And she's the only person speaking a little English.
Right.
And I start drinking their vodka made of fucking corn vodka or some shit that the Mongolians do. And they're all bloated and red because they drink this vodka.
Wow.
And we just drive, and I'm just laughing. We take, stops, and I just get hammered. And then at some point at night, we just get to Siem Reap. They say bye. No phone. No, what's your IG? Not, just never see you again. So I was in Pattaya, emceeing, bombing, because I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, global warming, what is it? I'm trying to, avocado, when is it ready? Almond milk, how could it be milk? They don't have nipples, all the usual whatever shit. I'm bombing, and there's a headliner, Jonathon Atherton. This is the first time I work with him. He's dead now, rest in peace. He was like a legend in the Southeast community. He got banned in Australia because he fought the stewardess high on PCP. Well, he says that he did some painkillers and saw the literal devil on the flight. That's his story. So he's like a crazy guy. He has a white suit. He's side stage. And this is the first time I met Jonathon. When I meet him, he shakes my hand. He goes, hey, Ari. I'm like, hey, I'm Ari. I might have a beer, before the gig. I'm like, do you want a beer, Jonathan? He goes, I've changed my life. I'm never drinking again. I'm like, wow, what a guy. When I'm on stage, I see him drinking a bottle of whiskey like this. And he's looking at me like this.
Oh, fuck.
And the audience is also, the avocado. Yeah. And they look at him, they're like, is that the headline?
Wow. How'd he do?
He goes on stage. He drops the N-bomb immediately, off the top, just to let him know. Standing go, off the top. Wow. He goes, what's up, you fucking racist rapist? Just goes.
What's his name?
Jonathon Atherton, legend.
Will you pull up a picture of Jonathon Atherton, please?
Yeah, he spoke like 8 languages, lived in Myanmar, did heroin in Cambodia.
Wow.
He fucking started the scene in Malaysia.
What was his last name?
Atherton. Yeah, that's how. Yeah! That's my boy. I can't believe I'm bringing up Jonathan.
Wow.
And he was murdering on stage, saying, and then at one point when he's murdering, because I was bombing, and I'm side stage now with my little beer, all fucking white-faced, he turns to me and goes, see, that's why the jokes weren't landing, Ari. They're a bunch of racists. All the guys going, and he goes, they want to hear the real shit. How about these sand nahas? People are
Fuck, man.
Because these are fucking expats.
Wow.
At one point, he's murdering a lady with short hair. She's like a nicer lady who probably was on vacation. Well, shouldn't be on vacation, but she thought Let's go and see some comedy, you know. She stands up and she's crying when she's standing up. She's like, you can't say these things, you know, because, Jonathan's going off about Aboriginals, all right? He's like, we won! You know,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She stands up, you're a horrible person, Jonathan goes, fuck you fucking cunt. You know, she storms out. This is my first time meeting Jonathon. The gig ends. He keeps drinking, of course. We play some pool. I go out with a couple of the waitresses there. We go to some bars. We play some pool. And the hotel was above the gig. The Lions pub. This is above the gig, right? So there's a hotel. And I go back to the hotel, to my room. I walk past Jonathan's room, and I'm hearing some sounds that are like insane coming from that room. But the door is cracked a little open. I kick it with my foot a little just to see what's happening in that room. Jonathan,
make sure he's safe.
Jonathon, white suit, the top part still on, bottom missing, top part still on, and it's all because he started drinking red wine. His white suit is all covered in red wine, and he's banging a broad. And I look who the broad is.
No.
The lady stormed out. Jonathan's holding her hair and fucking the shit out of her. And she's like, fuck me, you know.
Ultimate victory.
Bah, bah. And I just go to bed and then.
Wow. Inspirational.
And then in the morning I see Jonathan, the suit, another white suit, all clean. He goes, hey, how was your night? Just like, hey.
Totally fine.
And he goes, yeah. I go, and I'm like having a mimosa for my hangover. I go, you want a mimosa? He's like, I don't drink. Oh, wow. I'm never drinking again.
Wow. How did you get booked on that show?
I knew a guy, Andrew, he was a Malaysian promoter. I got booked on some tours and gigs. That's how you just found gigs there.
Wow.
Because my visa ran out in Australia, so I needed to find a place. And at that time, Estonia didn't quite have a scene. When I came back, it's just started bubbling, and I was really, within a year, I was able to start doing theaters in Estonia and change my act from English to Estonian, adapt it a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was just finding some gigs. I lived in Kuala Lumpur for 6 months, had a hostel, doing just hosting gigs.
What do you get paid for a gig out there?
I got some gigs were good, $250 a gig, which can last you
forever,
a month in Asia.
That's incredible.
You know? Yeah, in Southeast Asia.
So that sort of group of like international traveling gonzo miscreant comics, what do they think of the sort of more traditional, like American comedian path? Like, do they look down on it, or is there a sense of like, ugh? There's
another guy I know, Jim. He's from Florida, black guy. He moved to Macau, China. You know Macau? It's the fake Vegas.
I didn't know. I heard the name, but I didn't know it was fake Vegas.
It's fake Vegas. They have the fake Luxor. They have the fake MGM Grand. They have everything, the fake.
Oh, that's so weird.
And he does a 600-seater theater there for the past 20 years, maybe.
Wow.
And I did a gig with him maybe 6-7 years ago. He's like a Florida black guy, and he's a superhero there. He walks around, Asian people clap, they take pictures, hang off his arms, you know.
He does his act in English?
Yeah, but it's all the tourists and whatever. But he also speaks Chinese. He also he dips into the traditional version how to do comedy there is you do the setup in English and then the punchline back now, you know, you go, and then the people lose their mind.
That's so crazy.
So that's what he would do. I mean, a black guy speaking Chinese. I'm gonna jump off the balcony if I hear that. Of course, it's funny. And I remember like 5-6 years ago, and I was already, this was my like first trip back since I started there. And I'm talking to him, like, happy to see you. We go to the restaurant, and I talk about a little bit of the Rogan experience. I talk about the podcast world. And he's like, how's Jeff Dunham doing? You know, that's
right.
So he's not even
right.
And I know. And he does cruise ships and stuff, you know. And I know. The American, he's not after the grind, the bits are hack. I know. But isn't it wonderful that this art form, you can find a place in life through this art form anywhere?
Yes.
Jim is somewhere in Macau right now drinking a margarita.
Yeah. It's
and
incredible.
crushing in front of 600 people.
And like here. And the way it works there is totally different. The way traffic works there shouldn't work. There should be horrible accidents every few minutes there.
Well, there is.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
I literally remember having this thought in Thailand, being high on I bought a little motorbike in Thailand. I was riding my little motorbike. This was my maybe first month there when I moved there for a bit, and I was riding around high, and literally I watched the traffic. I'm like, the human experience is an organism, and the traffic lights are a scam to control us.
Yeah.
And then within a minute, I drive past it's a scooter accident that hit a truck, but it's a Thai scooter, so it's a family of 7. And the bloody baby shoes are all over the road. A small little bag for the small little baby that's dead. And I go, maybe we do need a light. And then I go home and it's the number one traffic fucking accident. Everybody dies there in traffic.